1989 is a seminal year for Eastern Europe, and in many ways, one of the most important dates in the last 100 years. By the summer of 1989, Hungary began to open its borders to Austria. Hungary, a communist dictatorship, Austria, a Western democracy. As a result of that, people from Eastern Europe began to flow through Hungary into Austria, essentially escaping into the West. People even began to jump over the fences of the Hungarian embassies and consulates in Eastern Europe if they couldn't get to Hungary itself, in the hopes of getting to Hungary and escaping. By the late summer and early fall, millions of people were taking to the streets throughout Eastern Europe in popular uprisings against the communist dictatorships. And by the end of 1989, the communist system in Eastern Europe was collapsing. Most of the countries went peacefully, but Romania and Yugoslavia go violently, and in some cases, very violently in both countries. This is a term in geography, Balkanization, which is the breakup of a large political unit into smaller political units. In some ways, this is what was happening to Eastern Europe in 1989 as a whole, because Soviet control was falling apart. At the same time, Balkanization was happening more specifically in two countries in the post-1989 era. The term Balkanization comes from the Balkans, the Balkan Peninsula, this area that we met before. It's the area between the Adriatic Sea, the Aegean Sea, and the Black Sea. This is historically, for centuries, a contentious area and an area where people have not always gotten along well. The first area that we're going to look at that went through Balkanization in the post-1989 era was Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia was founded in 1918, after World War I. The term Yugoslavia means land of the South Slavs. Literally what happened was the West Europeans who were creating the East European map after World War I and the collapse of the Prussian Empire and the Austro-Hungarian Empire had no real way to sort out what was going on in that area. It was ethnically, linguistically, and religiously complex. So what they decided to do was just put it all in one big country. They're all Slavic, right? They'll work it out. We'll call it Yugoslavia. The problem is, first of all, they're not all Slavic. They don't all speak the same language, and they don't all practice the same religion. Nevertheless, this is how Yugoslavia was founded. There was never really a strong Yugoslav nationalism. Nationalism remained centered on your ethnic, linguistic, religious group, Slovenian, Croatian, Serbian, whatever it may have been. And the way this arrangement played out was that Serbia, you can see that on the map, and Belgrade, which was the capital of Yugoslavia, held almost all of the actual power. Even though the power was supposed to rotate between all 6 Yugoslav republics, nevertheless, Belgrade and Serbia and the Serbs held most of the power. Then, after the collapse of communism in the late 1980s, civil war ensued in the 1990s, largely between all of those groups you see on that map. The result was that Yugoslavia broke into 6, at least, pieces. Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, Montenegro, Macedonia. You can see on there Vojvodina, up by Hungary, which is an ethnically Hungarian area of what is historically Serbia, and Kosovo, which is in the southern part of Serbia, which is an ethnically Albanian area. Kosovo has a semi-independent status. They would say completely independent status. That is the classic example of Balkanization. Czechoslovakia went through the same thing. Most people today, I think, even refer to the area as Czechoslovakia. Most people don't refer to it as the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Nevertheless, it's really two countries today. The composition of Czechoslovakia originally, when it was created, which is also something that comes about after World War I, was that it had 3 fundamental states. Now, the languages spoken there are nearly mutually intelligible, even for most people, mutually intelligible. Those three states are Bohemia and Moravia, both of which speak Czech or some version of Czech, and Slovakia, where they speak Slovak. However, in 1993, there was an amicable split, and the Czech Republic became an independent country and Slovakia became an independent country, with Prague as the capital of the Czech Republic and Bratislava the capital of Slovakia.